Hi, everybody. Today I have Anna with me, and we're going to talk about fascia and breathing and how important it is to breathe the right way when you are helping your fascia unwind. Take it away, Anna.
Hi, thank you. Um, so I'm gonna try to, I feel like the last video I was explaining a lot of the big medical scientific terminology. I'm gonna try to loop all that together now. And last time I couldn't find this quote I'd written down until after we stopped the video, but I wanted to read it. It's from the Eckhart Tolle book, The Power of Now. And he says, only when we are breathing through the diaphragm are we living in the moment. When we are breathing through the muscles of the upper chest, we are living in the thoughts of the past and the future, which is where fear lives, because it connects us with a different brain frequency. So understanding that, I think a big part of it for me was one day I had a download and I really grasped that when we are not thinking about consciously breathing or diaphragmatically breathing, something is still breathing for you. It's keeping you alive. When we're sleeping, we're not thinking about breathing. I really felt into that really deep and started thinking about what was different when I started controlling my breath, where my mind went, how I was able to drop into my body. And yes, it was a process and a lot of meditations and a lot of different things that I did to learn how to get into my body, to learn how to feel. But all of it had to do with breath. And so learning those two together, understanding what breath is, and I understand that that has to do with our awareness and that has to do with our higher self. There's a big part of breath. Something else that's really neat to me is that our sense of smell is the only one that doesn't follow a nerve pathway. And so to me, that's kind of an outside our body thing too, like breath and smell obviously go together. So anyways, it's just been a really big thing to me, and I understand how all the different societies use yoga and breath, and I really have been able to see all the different area, how they use all that, and how breath is really, people are able to do different types of meditation, because the meditation I do is not the same as really this fascia is my type of yoga meditation. So anyways, the whole reason that I want to or make such a big deal about it is you cannot do fascia work, releasing fascia, until you're able to find your breath, until you're able to understand that. And I say you can't do it. You can do, some little simple things, but your body's not going to allow you to get into the deep fascia, to start shearing it or to start being able to heal it, which was what in the last video, the proprioception, the interoception, and the reticular activating system. Those are things, the reason why I explain those is because so when you go to start doing fascia release, whether you're using the block or a foam roller or tennis ball, softball, baseball, kettlebell, whatever you're using, your body is going to know. So the proprioception is that's our body's sense of where we are in space. So when you go to push a ball into your leg or into your stomach or into your arm where you're trying to release the fascia, your body's going to tell you that shouldn't be there. Then the interoception, the part from the inside, is going to make your muscles and tendons and everything tighten up to try to resist that being pushed against you.
Yeah.
Then the reticular activating system part of that is saying that something is going on that shouldn't be. And so it kicks in fight or flight. If you don't know how to breathe through that fight or flight to calm your body down, because it's just a chemical reaction that's going on in your body at that point, which is what anxiety is, a chemical reaction from thoughts, memories, traumas that are locked in there. So when you start doing fascia work, you're literally pushing into that space. You're trying to shear the fascia from where it has attached. And you're also beginning to unlock traumas. So your awareness body, the ego part, doesn't want that to happen. So it's pushing back further, which it will tell you you can't take a deep breath. You can't, you're going to start having anxiety. And so the part of this is learning to breathe through that, learning to know that that's your body going into fight or flight, and learning to watch your breath and learning how to understand what is going on in your body, to be able to do the fascia work, or to be able to get down to the deep fascia and be able to shear that stuff. Just, I have some stuff written down here just so I wouldn't forget and have exactly in my mind, but it says, I have, when we focus on diaphragmatic breathing, it's creating an internal massage. Breathing alone creates a mechanical aspect that helps us create heat and energy, which helps break down food. Focusing on breath is strengthening the rib cage, and the rib cage is what's holding our body up. So have you seen like the Wim Hof method?
Yeah.
How he, okay, so put that in this perspective. What he's doing with his breath is his diaphragmatic breathing with the fascia is creating an internal heat in his body. And so that's how his body is able to regulate the chemical reaction of the outside coldness to his skin. But it all
Brilliant.
has to do with fascia.
Brilliant.
Yes. So that all goes to a whole nother level whenever you start thinking about how you can control your mind, because
Yeah.
all emotions, all anxiety, all that's energy that's coming up, and breath is what will control that.
That's awesome.
So gravity, unconscious posture, and unconscious breathing cause aging. So unconscious posture, unconscious breathing, which is just using all these neck muscles, shoulder muscles to breathe, while you're like collapsing in on your diaphragm, it's not even doing anything. So because of that, that's part of the fascia is so intuitive, it's going to do what we tell it to. So when you're caving in on your diaphragm, you're pretending like it's not there. So your body's just going to keep caving in on it. It's not going to let it do its thing. So that has to do with the aging part. Gravity is the driver that causes compression. We ignore things we don't see, which is what I'm saying with that. We ignore that. We don't pay attention to that.
Yeah.
And oftentimes gravity is, and I wrote, it's always pulling us inward. We ignore this until we wake up to having healthy fascia. But for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. The full conscious exhalation is the counter force to gravity.
Wow.
So not only the inhalation, but the pushing it out is how you're counteracting gravity. And how I told you that I can see my body changing in the mirror, and I can see it's not just me trying to hold my posture. Like for growing up, all I knew was sit up straight, hold your back straight.
I know, now I'm like, sit up.
Right. But when you bring the breath into it, that's a whole nother level, because you're not focusing on just keeping your back straight. You're focusing on your breathing and the whole inhalation and the exhalation. When you understand what that's doing, takes it to another level.
Yeah, that's great. I love it.
Yes.
Brilliant.
So I think I have a lot of other stuff written down, but I think that's pretty much the breath part of it, because you really have to understand that. And I think people are going to need to learn how to do that and focus on that, which we can help do. I mean, we have lots of different tools and ways.
Mm-hmm. So with with the diaphragmatic breathing, do you have like a count method, or like how do you break down that breathing method?
Whenever I first started, I followed a bunch of different people who counted numbers. And I think the breathing in for 4 seconds, holding in for 4 seconds, breathing out for 4 seconds was one of the biggest ones or easiest ones for me.
Yeah.
But now it's a feeling. Now I don't count or any of that. I've been able to bring my ego into neutrality when I go to that space of breath. It's just and that's why I got that quote from that Power of Now book, because that's all that book is teaching or reminding you about, is how to be in the moment.
So
And that's
calming. Do it.
right. Coming back to that every point.
I love this. Yeah, I think that can help people with fascia, but also it can just help them with like anxiety or anything, because it's such a anxiety moment in time right now with the world, and just to start to concentrate on our breathing. And 70% of your oxygen is from the bottom of the lungs, which nobody ever talks about that. So like
If you're
we're
breathing
all
from up
shallow
here,
breathers, so we're not
right,
getting all of our oxygen.
right. And then if you don't take in all that oxygen, your body can't do its chemical thing so you can blow out the carbon. So if that's
Right.
not happening, think of how much that is being stuck in. So then that's stuck in your fascia, that's stuck in your other organs, because our breath is one of our biggest detoxifiers, the lungs.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not doing that full inhalation and exhalation, that part's not happening like it should.
Right.
So that, yeah,
Well,
that is a big part of it.
yeah, that's huge. That helps you lose weight. It helps you stay
Right,
younger. Like it does
right,
all these things. It keeps you calm.
right.
And another thing
And
is
what you're
this thing, that's not good either for your
right.
breathing.
Right. And especially if you don't know how to breathe. Think about if you don't know
Right.
how to breathe, and then you add that on top of it.
Yeah, all
What you
that
were saying,
carbon is going right back in your body.
right. So your body's having to detoxify double. So think
Yeah.
about adding the C19, that aspect we just talked about, from that, adding that into extra carbon being added to your body, and your body trying to detox all that. Right.
Yeah. And they
Um,
knew that. Nasty people.
right, right. What you were talking about, the anxiety. So when I started all this fascia stuff, what got me to that was because I was in so much pain, and I was trying to figure
Mm-hmm.
out how to get out of pain, because I was told by so many doctors this was just it, pain meds for the rest of my life, and I wasn't accepting it. But you cannot really go at this fascia release just to release pain, because it'll all be superficial. If you don't learn how to breathe, your body won't let you get into that deep fascia where everything's locked, the codes of healing, the codes of remembering, all that stuff that you're supposed to do. But what it's taught me, and I know why I had to learn it this way, the anxiety part. So when I say this is my yoga meditation,
Mm-hmm.
laying on the softballs, laying on the rollers, using the wall, whatever I'm doing, it is so grounding. And I understand that I am I'm doing it, transmuting energy. There's higher levels to this, but it is so grounding. It takes anxiety away. I mean, and the
Yeah.
breath has to do with it, because if you don't know how to breathe, you are going to create more anxiety. Because I've caught myself feeling like there would be a bunch of commotion going on, and I would want to feel like I needed to go sit on the ball, because I can just do it in a flat back chair,
Yeah.
and just release the fascia under my legs. And there's a couple of times that, because I was not able to center myself and get to that point of neutrality before I started, my body won't let me do it. So it
Right.
really takes that mindset, and it really helps you get to that place, is what I feel like for me. The anxiety, the grounding has been a huge part.
And you don't have to sit in the ice water. I don't want to do
No,
that.
no, not at all. Oh, so funny.
Oh, this was
So funny
great,
though.
Anna.
I have gone outside and with just like a tank top on or a pair of shorts or something in our freezing cold weather, and I've done it. Just standing out there, being able to control how the cold feels on my skin and not letting myself run away from it. Like, it's really cool
Fabulous.
when you realize that your breath can do all that.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Awesome.
I love our bodies. They're so amazing.
Yes. Thank you
Yes.
for this.
Thank you. This was great. So what are we going to talk about next in fascia?
I want to do the detoxing one, so I'm gonna
Okay.
talk to Dr. Lynn and see when she has time to do that. Um,
Okay.
unless we come up with something else. I don't know that there's anything else written down right now.
Okay. That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for this. I think this was so valuable for everybody, and I really appreciate it. And I can't wait for the next one.
Awesome. Have a good day.
Bye. Thank you. You too.